The arrogance of the Galactic Council. In the vastness of space, where stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, a gathering of alien generals and admirals convened near the Epsilon Eridani star. Their ships, sleek and bristling with advanced weaponry, represented the might of empires that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. They were here to discuss a growing nuisance, a species they considered primitive and unworthy of attention. This nuisance was humanity. The council chamber, situated on the Zorian flagship, was filled with laughter as the aliens mocked the humans. A minor species, barely out of their cradle, High Commander Zorth sneered. His claws tapped the table rhythmically as he recounted the tales of human audacity. From stealing precious ore to illegal colonization, the humans had shown a nerve that infuriated the council. "We should crush them now before they grow any bolder," suggested Admiral Kozak of the Carians, his voice dripping with contempt. The others nodded in agreement, that arrogance blinding them to the possibility of human retaliation. Meanwhile, on Earth, deep within a top-secret bunker, the Global Defense Council watched a hacked transmission of the alien meeting. Admiral Reeves, a stoic figure with sharp eyes, listened as the extraterrestrials derided humanity. But Reeves had a secret that would soon turn the tide of history. "Our time is near," Reeves said to his officers, his voice steady. "They think us weak, but they have no idea what we've prepared." The alien generals continued their mockery, unaware that their words were being transmitted to Earth. They had underestimated humanity for the last time. The Battle of Titan 17. High Commander Zorth stood on the bridge of his Venian dreadnought, the Conquest, as it hung ominously over the human colony on Titan 17. The small settlement below looked pathetic to him, a mere blemish in the vast expanse of space. "Commence orbital bombardment," Zorth ordered, his voice laced with disdain. Massive plasma cannons unleashed streams of superheated energy, raining down upon the colony. Buildings vaporized, and explosions rocked the surface as the human colonists scrambled for cover. Governor Adams, the leader of the colony, barked orders to get the planetary defense cannons online. The human weapons fired back, but they were no match for the alien shields. As the bombardment continued, Zorth ordered the ground invasion. Dropships loaded with Venian troops descended on Titan 17, their war machines grinding the terrain as they unleashed devastation upon the human defenders. Despite their inferior technology, the humans fought back with grim determination, engaging in brutal hand-to-hand combat when ammunition ran low. The situation grew dire as bunkers were breached and soldiers fell. Governor Adams, now cornered in the command center, prepared to make a final stand. But just as the aliens were about to break through, alarms blared on the Conquest. "A massive fleet just dropped out of hyperspace at the system's edge," the sensor officer reported. "They're human ships, but I've never seen configurations like these before." Zorth's eyes widened as the view screen filled with the image of a colossal human armada, dwarfing the Venian invasion force. At the fleet's head was a massive dreadnought, bristling with guns and emblazoned with the insignia of Earth. "All ships open fire," came the cold command of Admiral Reeves. Humanity strikes back. The human fleet surged forward, their weapons lighting up the void of space. Advanced missiles and high-energy beams slammed into the Venian ships, shredding through their shields like paper. The Conquest shuddered under the onslaught as Zorth roared in disbelief. "Fall back. Regroup," Zorth ordered, but it was too late. The human fleet tore through the Venian lines with a ferocity that left the alien generals reeling. Dreadnoughts unleashed broadside after broadside, reducing alien vessels to molten slag. Fighters and bombers swarmed the enemy, picking off targets with merciless precision. On Titan 17's surface, the human defenders cheered as the Venian troops began retreating in disarray. Governor Adams watched in awe as human dropships descended, disgorging reinforcements and supplies. The tide had turned, and the once mighty Venian forces were now fleeing for their lives. Across the galaxy, reports flooded in of human attacks on Zorian and Carrion outposts. The alien empires, once smug in their dominance, now found themselves on the defensive. Humanity had emerged from the shadows, and they were striking back with a vengeance. On Earth, the President addressed the world and the watching galaxy. For too long, the Galactic Council species have oppressed and belittled humanity. But no more. Today, we declare war against these arrogant empires. Our secret fleet is a secret no longer, and the galaxy will tremble at the fury of the human race. The invasion of Zorak Prime. Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge of his dreadnought, eyes fixed on the looming shape of Zorak Prime. The planet, a web of metal shipyards and factories, was the heart of the Zorian war machine. Half-built warships hung in orbit, skeletal frames waiting to be filled with weapons and armor. All ships, prepare for assault, Reeves ordered. Fighter squadrons, launch on my mark. Marine transports, begin boarding operations. The human fleet surged forward, their ships darting nimbly through the barrage of Zorian defenses. They weaved between the lumbering battleships, pummeling them with concentrated fire. Explosions bloomed across Zorian hulls as the human weapons found their marks, reducing armor to molten slag. Human dropships screamed toward the planet's surface, dodging clouds of flak and anti-air fire. They slammed into the ground near the sprawling estates of the Zorian elite, disgorging Marines encased in sleek black power armor. The humans charged forward, their weapons spitting death as they stormed the Zorian strongholds. In his palatial estate, Ambassador Kozak watched in disbelief as security feeds showed human soldiers smashing through his gates. The Zorian guards were no match for the relentless human advance. Kozak barked orders into his comm, but it was too late. The human invasion was overwhelming, and the Zorian defenses were crumbling. Across the planet, oppressed slave species began rising up, rallying around the human liberators. The once invincible Zorian war machine was faltering, crumbling under the relentless human assault. The trap in the Antares Nebula. In the chaos of the orbital battle, Admiral Reeves watched as the Zorian ships began breaking away, fleeing toward the swirling clouds of the nearby Antares Nebula. He recognized the trap they were trying to set. It was the same nebula where his fleet had once eluded Kozak's forces. All ships pursue the Zorian into the nebula, Reeves ordered, his voice calm. Prepare to deploy the swarm. The human fleet plunged into the nebula's churning depths, sensors straining to penetrate the electromagnetic interference. Shakes loomed in the clouds, Zorian ships lying in wait. Kozak's voice crackled over the comm, harsh with triumph. Now humans, you've fallen right into our trap. All ships, open fire. The Zorian vessels emerged from the nebula, weapons blazing. Beams of energy and volleys of missiles asked toward the human fleet, but Reeves was ready. Deploy the swarm, he commanded. From the human ships, thousands of small spherical drones burst forth, spreading out into the nebula. The Zorian sensors struggled to track them as they darted and weaved through the clouds. Suddenly, the Zorian ships began firing wildly, their shots going wide as their sensors were overwhelmed by the swarm of drones. The human fleet seized the advantage, picking off the blinded Zorian ships with merciless precision. Kozak's flagship shuddered under the impact of human weapons, consoles exploding in showers of sparks. The fall of Kozak roared in rage as he struggled to retake control of his flagship, but it was already too late. A human cruiser rammed into the side of the flagship, its AI guidance scrambled by the drones. The two ships tore into each other, metal sparking and shearing. Kozak was thrown across the bridge, his body slamming into a bulkhead with bone-crushing force. He slumped to the deck, blood trickling from his mouth, eyes wide in shock and disbelief. All around, the Zorian fleet was in disarray, their ships being picked off one by one by the relentless human assault. The once mighty Zorian Empire was falling apart, their forces shattered by the unexpected human onslaught. Kozak, now defeated and broken, could only watch in despair as his empire crumbled around him. The dawn of a new era. Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge of his dreadnought, watching as the last of the Zorian ships were destroyed. The battle was over, and humanity had emerged victorious. The alien empires, once so arrogant and dismissive of humanity, had been brought to their knees. Across the galaxy, word of the human victory spread like wildfire. Oppressed species, long held in subjugation by the Galactic Council, began to rise up, inspired by the humans' defiance. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and a new era was dawning. On Earth, the President addressed the world once more. Today, we stand victorious against those who sought to oppress us, but our fight is not over. We will continue to fight for freedom, for justice, and for the right of all species to live in peace. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity, once thought to be insignificant, became the beacon of hope for countless worlds. The age of human defiance had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again.